ain't gonna give in now. I think I gotta live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey, you just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors rise, grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. Excited to be with you guys on this Monday. What day is it today? It is June 24th, 2024. And this is live with Coach JV. I started this show to connect deeper with the audience. I'll be going live every single Monday. Even when I'm traveling, I'll do the best I can to be on live here. And then very, very soon, thank you, Gonzo. Very soon, we're going to be starting a new show on Fridays throughout the back end of this year as we ramp up 3T Warrior Academy Media. So we're going to work to bring the biggest and the brightest stars to you guys to help keep you informed. I also want to make sure that you guys check out Good Morning Crypto, which is the greatest crypto news station with one of the best hosts in the world, Abs, bringing you the crypto news every single day. So I'll be bringing you the macro microeconomics. Today, I'm going to be connecting with you guys and answering questions. But what I want to talk about today is what I mean by huge warning is just the mental preparation before November 4th, 2024. So I'm going to break down the Ray Dalio's changing world order. I'm going to share with you how the election now is a crypto election, which is absolutely crazy. And then I'm going to talk about some facts, figures, numbers, logic around Biden, SWIFT system, Russia, China, Taiwan, and things that we need to look out for. I want to make it very, very clear as well. I don't think the US dollar is going to collapse tomorrow. I don't think it's going to collapse in 24 months or 36 months. What I've always said is we're in a slow transition into a new monetary system, an even playing field, on-demand liquidity, real-time payments, blockchain technology. And I'll take you all the way back to when I started banking school in 2012. I went to what's called CBA Executive Banking School. In CBA Executive Banking School, we learned how to scale banks from the ground up. After our first year in CBA Executive Banking School, they reached out to us during the summertime or during our off time. So basically what we'd do is we go to a campus on Furman University in South Carolina, and we'd spend about a month there in that campus, about 3 weeks at that campus. It was like you go for 3 weeks, go back to your executive job, come back for 3 years. Now, in between 2012 and 2013, what they shared with us is we're switching to fintech. Okay. We're like, what the heck is that? We're switching to fintech, which is financial technology. So in the SIM model in CBA Executive Banking School, no, I didn't even have any exposure to crypto back then. I didn't know anything about cryptocurrency. But what I did know is that the banking system was switching to what's called fintech. So in the SIM model, when you started to reduce bank branches and started to add in innovative technologies like ATMs, online banking, customer service, ease, what would you call it? Customer ease of use, customer interface, right? So what we started to do in some of the areas in a SIM model is I started to close down bank branches. This is in the SIM model, right? I started to close down bank branches within the college areas with the younger adults, and I started putting up more ATMs and more online banking type services. The SIM model started to blow up. If you looked at the outskirts where the baby boomers were, we kept the locations there, and then we worked on customer service to help educate them to move into online banking. In the bank also, every single teller was trying to sell people online banking. There was a transition happening big time in 2012. There was a lot of things that happened in 2012 as well. The FOMC was created, the Future Oversight Committee, which Gary Gensler was one of the people to start that. We had the Bank Bail-In Committee was created in 2012. Rosie Rios, the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, was told to reduce coin and cash usage. She said she was the last person to sign the $100 bill, the last $100 bill, and she's responsible for bringing in a new currency. What else do we have? We had the Mayan calendar ended. We all thought the world was going to end, just like Y2K. And then, Obama turned the printing machine on full blast with the Obama Rescue Plan, right? So we had the FOMC, Future Oversight Committee, to regulate non-bank financial institutions. And guess what's happening now? We have a ton of non-bank financial institutions. Now, what does that mean? Outside of like Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, right? That would be a traditional bank. Outside of banks, non-bank financial institutions that are offering loans, products, services, outside of the traditional banking system, right? So that committee was designed to regulate non-bank financial institutions, which they probably knew this time was coming with the advent of technology, the internet, Venmo, PayPal, all these different things happening. Also really important to write down is the Bank Bail-In Committee was created, right? Jay Clayton initiated the case against Ripple on December 20th, 2020, and then left to consult for One River Capital or New River Capital, one of the two, that increased their position in Bitcoin and Ethereum just a couple months earlier. And then in 2022, either 22 or 23, it was either January 22 or 2023, he was implemented onto the bank board, the board of directors for the bank bailing committee. So you got Jay Clayton sitting on the bank bailing committee. Okay, think about that for just a moment. Left the head of the SEC. Gary Gensler was created part of creating the FOMC, the Future Oversight Committee. He leaves the head MIT professor or head professor at MIT for crypto to take control of the SEC. He came from the CFTC as well, which deemed Bitcoin as a commodity. And we got Larry Fink, the largest asset manager in the world, who sits on the board of trustees for the World Economic Forum. And if you've been watching my videos the last week, we talked about how Tether was removed from Uphold, and it seemed like, Brad Garlinghouse has predicted a black swan, but can you predict a black swan, right? He said it would be a big impact to the industry if something happened with Tether. Well, Tether was pulled off of Uphold, but USDC Circle stayed as part of Uphold. We know Ripple's partner with Uphold, and we know USDC is Circle, which BlackRock, with their build fund, holds their reserves, right? So we got Circle, BlackRock connected. We got Coinbase connected to BlackRock through Aladdin. I've told you guys the big three are going to be here: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then all the rest are going to be working to survive regulation. Ripple spent $200 million since 2020 to battle the SEC, but Ethereum gets a free pass. Dive deeper into my video this morning that I did. We'll kind of give you hints on where we're going. So that's why I stay so calm. And that's why I actually get excited. Thanks to Gonzo being in the chat here as well. He's our wise counsel in regards to charts. And I get excited. He sends me an update every single day. And I'm going to be bringing him on this channel to do some updates for us as well here in the near future around the markets. Now, I'm not a crypto expert in regards to understanding analytics. What I'm an expert at is understanding what you're seeing on this screen right here. I study in nauseam spirituality, history, financial history, everything in regards to understanding. If you can look at the past, you can predict the future. What I'm really good at is understanding waves of energy. So I want to take you guys through that, how much things have changed. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water here. That's so ironic. Podcast was on, the lady had a coughing fit. That's energy right there. So basically, what I'm going to show you guys is how my brain works in all of this. That's why I stay completely calm. I get really excited when the markets dip. Gonzo sent me an update and he was super accurate yesterday, and boom, it hit. Bitcoin, I think, is dropping under 60K right now. And that's those buying opportunities for me because I understand that the wave of energy is here. Remember, JP Morgan, billionaires use astrology, millionaires use charts. So the first thing I want to dive into with you guys here, let me just change this up really quickly. Okay. So this is how radically things have changed, right? We went from, and I believe that Trump is all about the US dollar, right? But he switched his tone pretty dramatically as he came back in for this swing at the presidential election, right? But 7 years ago, there's a video that I showed where he said we're going to an even playing field sooner than we know it. And it's going to be on it. He said an even playing field, basically. And now what they're talking about, that's why I say that I don't think the US dollar is going to collapse. I think we're going to have a transition into a monetary system, and there's going to be a bag of currencies, right? It's not going to be the US dollar as a dominant currency anymore. It's going to be a bag of currencies. It's going to be regulated on an even playing field, right? So you'll have the G20, you're going to have BRICS, you're going to have all these different countries that have a bag of currencies, and money will move across the rails at the speed of light. Well, the interesting thing and dynamic that's changed now, it's this was on Watch Guru that just came through, just 11:33, just a half an hour ago. It says President Donald Trump in talks to speak Bitcoin convention in July. How radically has this transformed, guys? Okay. It went from cryptocurrencies a fraud, it's used for money laundering, used for fentanyl, all the criminals are using it, to now one of the biggest discussions in the presidential election. And the reason why I bring all this stuff up, this is positive, but I want to show you the energy that we're going to feel the next 4 months, right? So we went through the eclipse on April 8th. That was a dramatic shift in consciousness. You're now starting to see the darkness come to light. We're going to see a lot of dark energy coming out the next 4 months. So imagine, and I'll just explain this in a context and you guys can decide what I'm talking about, okay? Imagine a narcissist getting caught in all their lies. Imagine a narcissist getting caught with their pants down when the tide comes out, as Warren Buffett says. What do you think they're going to start doing? They're going to start throwing haymakers, man. Haymakers. They start to lose control of their mind. They start to lose control of their soul. They start to lose control of their emotions. And when they start to lose control of their emotions, they get really, really, really sloppy. So the next 4 months, the key factor is to keep those blinders on. And I can feel, and this is facts, figures, numbers, logic from the messages that we get on socials. We get about over 100 messages a day from all our social media platforms, well over 100 on TikTok, but I can't even keep up with that, just on our Instagram alone. And I can tell that the energy and the tone is changing. People are getting frustrated. They're getting tired. They're getting irritated, especially XRP holders. Oh, it's blah. It's going to take forever, but you have to develop a long-term fundamental outlook. Let me say that one more time. You have to develop a long-term fundamental outlook. You have to slow the thing down. You can't look at it as you're going to get rich quick. You have to put blinders on. You have to build a fundamental long-term strategy, and you have to lock and load. First, you need to develop financial literacy, understanding what is the dollar, which I'm going to break down in just a moment here. We have to understand historical patterns. What happened in the 1900s? They made us all workers, trading time for money. So the first thing we need to understand is financial literacy. What is money? It's debt. In America, it's just debt. That's it. Every single dollar, all of us here together, my debt is your income. Your debt is my income. When I walk in and make a deposit into the bank, and I walk in, when my direct deposits hit, boom, my deposits are going out to the next person getting a loan. It's a Ponzi scheme. So at some point, the Ponzi scheme collapses, right? Unfortunately, us as Americans right now, being adults that are the head of our households right now, trying to protect our families, we caught the ball. Now, here's the good news, is we also caught the ball knowing that there's a new monetary system coming in. And if we're patient, if we're persistent, if we do our research and we plan correctly and we get our head out of the charts and get our heads up into wave of energy and understanding Wall Street wins 100% of the time, and you stop being the exit liquidity, you could radically transform your family's life. So now we have a presidential election that is all about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, okay? Now we're going to revisit this, and I'll tell you what, with the risk of losing followers, I'm going to be talking about this in nauseam over and over and over again, because what I present is the things that I'm actually living. That's all my social media is. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. I look at this chart right here every 3 days. I study it. I ask myself, where are we at? And I ask myself, not what this YouTuber says, don't listen to what I say, don't listen to what Biden says, what Trump says. I say to myself, based on this chart right here, where do I believe America is and where do I need to deploy my capital? Do I need to make moves? Do I need to hold strong? And I'm able to look at history at a deep, deep level and understand the waves of energy and what I believe is going to happen. So if we break this down, if we look at the top, right? So we hit the top for America. America hit the top, low interest rates, money flowing like water, right? Just there, just printing money, buying bonds, right? Selling the bonds to us, which is supposed to be tier one capital, some of the safest capital that you can purchase, right? Think about that for just a moment. Then the government buys junk bonds off these companies that are on the stock market. It's an overvalued stock market right now. So I think we hit our run, guys. We hit the top. Now, this is not good, bad, or indifferent. This is just a wave of energy that's changing, okay? So we hit the top at 10, which is overextended. We became less productive. We're starting to lose our competitiveness in America. Now, I'm proud to be an American. I serve my country. I built, I had 7 companies. I just let one of them go. I have 6 companies here in America. I've been able to speak my truth on social media. So don't get me wrong. I'm proud to be an American, but I'm making sure I get my family set up for this transition in America. We are losing competitive, guys. We are losing competitiveness. The wealth gaps are massive in America from 1971 to today, and they're about to get a lot larger. They're about to get a lot larger. The middle class is getting wiped out, leverage source technology moving down to the working poor. Okay. Large debts. Okay. We have massive amounts of debt in America. Every single dollar in the system is someone else's debt. America, is sitting at 120% debt to income ratio. So that means our GDP versus our debt is negative. So if we sold everything in America, we can't even pay off our debt. Think about that for just a moment. If we sold everything in America, we can't pay off our debt. I'm going to come to questions in just a moment. I'm going to wrap this up. We'll spend about 20, 30 minutes answering questions. So we have large debts, printing of money, right? Well, they shut off the printing machine, but we printed more money than in history from 2020 to about 2022 on the back end. And we printed so much money that it inverted the bond yields, which was really bad, guys. I think it was 2023, the bond yields inverted. We saw our first bank collapse, but a lot of people didn't realize that they implemented a loan program. The Federal Reserve implemented a loan program that helped those banks limp along for the next 12 months. And we saw our first banks collapse in 2024. And now banks are facing the new Basel laws, which are coming on the back end of the year. The regional banks are in trouble right now. And I'm not saying run out and, take your money out of a bank. I have my money in my bank, and not a lot. I make sure that I move my money. I insure my wealth. I have it in the capital markets. I basically do what the banks do, which I'll explain in just a moment. Okay. Printing of money, internal conflict, guys. We're seeing it. The left is turned against the right. The right is turned against the left. You have social, geopolitical. You have all kinds of different narratives that are being created within America, right? So we are turning against each other within America, which is very dangerous, guys. Just like the Coliseum, they got us drunk off the wine. Loss of reserve currency. Now, this is where I caution saying this, is because a lot of people think that when I say this stuff, I think the dollar is going to collapse tomorrow. If the dollar collapses, we'll be done, guys. Absolutely done. The dollar is the dominant currency, but we also have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to what is actually happening, which I'm going to show you. Weak leadership. That's up to you guys to decide. I'll let you form your own opinion around our leadership right now. Well, let's just say this. The other world leaders are laughing at us. They are so happy with our presidential structure right now because they literally can batter America. But they're also getting really fed up with America being the dominant currency and us manipulating their trade, manipulating their income. And we have sloppy ass policies and really sloppy leadership within America. And civil war and revolution, November 4th, 2024. No matter which way it goes, you better bet your bottom dollar, man. You're going to see some craziness happen in America. Okay, so this is all the facts, figures, numbers, logic. So what we're doing is we're on the decline right now. And then you head into what's called the New World Order, right? That's usually after a world war. And we know that China invaded, that we have the China and Taiwan thing, and we have our semiconductors in Taiwan. So we said that we will protect Taiwan if China invades. Russia invaded Ukraine. We stepped in to help Ukraine. I'm also going to show you guys the fact sheets around the SWIFT system and sanctions. So now we got America against China and Russia, as China and Russia are coming together. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, and 15 other nations are working to join. Okay. So these are just things we need to pay attention to. And this all goes into the narrative of why do you think the largest asset manager in the world? Why do you think Visa, the largest payment processor in the world, are all bought into crypto transactions? Number one, BlackRock going into the Bitcoin ETF and all of a sudden switching their tone in 2023. The writing is on the wall. History is about to rhyme very dramatically. Okay. Like I said, November 4th is extremely, extremely important. Whichever way it goes, it's going to be a change for America the next 100 years. Okay, so we dive into this. As a fact sheet, the United States imposed first tranche of SWIFT and severe cost on Russia. So this was February 22nd, 2022. I shared with you guys when Russia invaded Ukraine, I said the first thing they were going to do is put sanctions on Russia. And sure enough, they did. And it was on the SWIFT system. Okay, so that caused the first wave of first, there's problem, reaction, solution, right? There's a problem that's created, reactions created in the people, and then they come up with the solution, which is I'll be talking about tomorrow with the BIS, right? We're moving into a new monetary system. Now, as we move forward a little bit further here, Biden administration announces new sanctions on Russia ahead of G7 summit, and that was on June 12th, 2024. So we're throwing all these sanctions up against Russia, and at the same time, China downsizes holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds. This is where I want to pause for just a moment. So as we're throwing these sanctions on Russia, we're going to protect Taiwan, we're protecting Ukraine. What's happening is China, now remember, who holds most of our debt, guys? So most of our debt's held outside the United States. China, okay, China and Japan hold most of our debt, okay? A bunch of these countries hold U.S. Treasury bonds, but what's happening is they're downsizing their holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds. If we lower interest rates, it becomes less attractive. So if they start to dump all these treasury bonds back on America, what do you think is going to happen to the American dollar? Hyperinflation, guys. So Jerome Powell, you can see why he's not lowering interest rates. He knows that if he does a stark decrease in interest rates, number one, his crypto, stock market, assets are going to go through the roof. And number two, we could be at risk of them dumping treasury bonds back on America, which can cause hyperinflation. So imagine walking on this tightrope right now. You're at 120% debt to income ratio. Okay. The economic advisor for Biden couldn't even explain how it works. Did you guys see that video? Give me a thumbs up if you saw that video. He was like, well, we print money and we buy bond. Wait, what do we do? Oh yeah, we print our own money and then we buy the bonds and then we sell the bonds. Wait, is that what we do? He's like, it's confusing. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, you're right. The El Salvador president explained it perfectly. We print our own money out of thin air. We buy bonds from thin air printed money. We sell the bonds to Americans at an interest and tell them, hey, it's tier one capital. It's the bottom of the risk pyramid. And then the interest you earn on that, you put it back into the bank and then they lend it out to the next person walking in. Think about that. That's a Ponzi scheme, guys. And they were telling us that cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme, Bitcoin, that's 80% of the supply hasn't moved. It's a risk on, risk off asset. Okay. It can't be printed, right? Think about that for just a moment. So it's a really, really interesting dynamic that we need to pay attention to as these waves of energy change. So we got this: Russia, China dumped the dollar as Moscow announces new trade corridors. So those are the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. I want to answer some questions here. Let me start cruising through here. Oh, thank you so much, guys. So we'll roll through here. Let's see. Gonzo, what's happening, brother? Let's see. Hey, coach, do you believe all the negativity towards ETH in the documentary helps or hurts the appreciation within this space? What are your honest thoughts? Oh, great question, man. I honestly don't think, I think the documentary is only going to add value to the ecosystem, to be honest with you. I think when you see how it's positioned and how it's explained and how it's brought out, Ethereum's not going to get hurt, dude. Ethereum, sorry, I didn't mean to say dude. That was disrespectful. I didn't mean dude. So my son's in there. That's probably what I was just thinking. Ethereum is part of the ecosystem, guys. It ain't going nowhere. You know, you guys see what they're doing, man. I mean, ETH just gets a free pass. I mean, it doesn't matter how much shade is thrown on it. It's so deep inside the banking system. It ain't going nowhere. So it's part of the system. And I feel like the documentary is going to allow the normal everyday person, because, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, there's 50-50. People are for the documentary or not for the documentary. And I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised on how they did it, right? They took it from a grassroots approach from, you know, people like me who were fed up with the system and just started explaining what they were learning, all the way up to David Schwartz, right? So it gives a clear view from the bottom to top. Now, I always tell you guys, I'm not a, like, people ask me about the technology and the intricate parts of, you know, cryptocurrency, and that's not my expertise. My expertise is macro microeconomics, which you'll see that within the documentary on how we created a worldwide warrior academy and teaching people how to break free from this just over broke indoctrination. So great question. I don't think it's going to hurt ETH at all. I don't think it's going to hurt. I think it's only going to enhance the ecosystem because, you know, I don't know. I just think that ETH is so deep in the system that I don't think it's going to do anything to Ethereum. I've never seen a live chat from Coach JB, but excited. Thank you so much. Yeah, GMC they're badass. It's the greatest crypto show in the world. We got Gonzo, we got Abs, we got Johnny Crypto. My kids were just talking about Johnny Crypto, like Johnny Crypto with a K. Oh, here's Johnny. We were just actually, Johnny Crypto's a legend, man. We were just camping this weekend, and my kids were coming up with an intro for him. They're like, here's Johnny. It was pretty cool, man. So thank you for that. The reason why I started to go live, I just got back from Peru, and oh man, I'll freaking get emotional talking about you guys, but I just want to build a deeper connection with you guys, man. I just, as I go to Peru more and more, and you can take this for what it is, man. Take it as genuine or ingenuine, however you feel this. Like, I cannot see separation anymore between humanity, man. I just call it hippy dippy, call it whatever it is. Every time I go to Peru and I come back, the veil gets lifted, and I just don't feel disconnected from anybody, even the people that hate me, man. You see, I don't respond. I just say I love you because I totally get it. I get why somebody would hate on me because I'm so different, you know. And when somebody's operating their true authenticity, it irritates people, man. And so, yeah, that's why I'm going live more. I just want to connect with you guys more. I want to get to know people more. So I love you so much, David. Thank you so much. Coach JB, what's up? Let's see if there's any questions here, chap. Honestly. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, David. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. Yeah, ask any questions you may have here. Bitcoin is just ranging, but your altcoins will bleed. It's all opportunity, yes. And Gonzo, I'm telling you what, Gonzo is one of the greatest of all time within our community. He does our chart analysis, and I'd like to bring him on the show more frequently to share with us what's going on. Again, guys, I'm not a crypto expert. What I'm really good at, though, is so I'm the CEO of the 3T Warrior Academy and many other companies. I know what I'm good at. I'm good at exposing truth around the financial system and exposing my own truth around spirituality. That's it. And so if you want to see the spirituality part, check out my in the suggested videos, Refined Integrity. I started my own channel around spirituality as well. What's happening? How we doing? Let's see. Good afternoon. What's up, brother? Okay, Gonzo, did you guys chat with Cardone last week, or did he have to reschedule? I'll have to check on that. I think they did. I think they talked to him. I thought I saw it pop up. Let's see. If you have a TA or yeah, please. If you have any TA or project questions, ask here. Gonzo's in the chat right now. When do you believe XRP, HBAR, XLM will rise? I think in the bull market, which Gonzo kind of gave me some good education on that too. I've been saying, like, I believe back into September we'll start to see a little bit. If they lower interest rates, assets are going to go up, but the true bull run is going to kick off. I think Gonzo, you can answer this like in 2025. You'll see them go up. So you're going to have the Bitcoin dominance. Once Bitcoin dominance comes down, the Bitcoin will bleed into altcoins, and then we'll start to see altcoins go up. So, and I think too, for a lot of people, just mentally prepare for when the case settles. I think everybody, maybe it will. I don't think it will. Just like when they deemed XRP not being a security. That's why I try to teach people and repeat the same things over and over again. Someone's like, stop repeating what you do on every video. I'm like, no, I'm not, because I want. Here's why. Here's the reason why. Is we coached over 8,000 people since 2020. And by the time the bull run hit in 2022, so that's since 2020, by 2022, we'd probably coached about 6,500 people, right? No matter how much I repeated, exit the markets, have an exit plan, follow your strategy. Do you know how many people actually did it? Very few people did it. So I realized you have to repeat the same thing to the same people over and over and over again. The reason why is because our brain is designed to think that we're going to get more. It's like more, more, more. And trust me, what goes up will come down, and it will come down hard. Okay. So I think it's very important. So Gonzo, yes, I wanted to know if CASPA is a priority for you this bull run. So I'll see if I can grab onto that one. My understanding is miscommunication. ABS has it. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what that is. I hope they don't start World War III before the presidential election. I believe Trump can end the conflict. I completely agree with this statement right here. I don't get into a lot of political stuff, but I do agree that we wouldn't be going into World War III if Trump was president. We just wouldn't be. So has a very different stance on he knows how to run a business. Simple. it doesn't make sense to go to war, other than the only reason it would make sense to go to war is if you lost control of the financial system. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, does that make sense? So if you lost control of the financial system and you don't know how to control it, you know how to properly put in policies in place that benefit humanity and United States and the land of the free, then you got to go to war. You know, you gotta hide it within a war and create monetary gain through war, which is disgusting. But, and again, guys, I'm proud to be an American. I served my country. I was in the military. And thank you to all those who have served our country and people worldwide as well. Really drag butt on Mondays, but what's making it good is a GMC. I love, yeah, this is so awesome, man. GMC show is rocking it too, guys. We were looking at me and our CFO, my CFO, our CFO, he's our CFO, for Age of Radio. We have the podcast. Their podcast is, so GMC is also on your favorite podcast network, and that show is crushing it. They are one of the fastest growing shows we have, and very, very proud of this team, man. Talk about RPL stablecoin. So the Ripple stablecoin, I mean, it's the only thing I can say about it from a macroeconomic view is it by chance? The tether's being pulled off of Uphold, Ripple's partnered with Uphold, USDC, Circle is partnered or stayed on with Uphold, connected to BlackRock. You know, Ripple's at the World Economic Forum, Circle's at the World Economic Forum a year later when most crypto companies weren't there. Larry Fink's part of the board of trustees for the World Economic Forum. I don't think it's by chance that the case is going to end probably in September, and then all of a sudden it's the Ripple stablecoin. I just have always thought, guys, there's something underlying that we're missing here, and that the case, not that I think that Brad Garlinghouse and him are involved in any of this. I just think that they saw Ripple and XRP, and this is a good thing for Ripple, the company, as such a, because the first time I got introduced to XRP, guys, it was a guy named Jay Bills that walked in our facility. And he said, hey, have you ever heard of XRP? And he said something about the phoenix rising from the ashes. I went and looked it up, and I was like, first thing I said is, why aren't the banks using this? And then I realized all over the world there were institutions using it. I'm like, why wouldn't everybody use this? This doesn't make any sense. I was going through CBA Executive Banking School. We learned how to scale banks from the ground up. Swift system's clunky, man. It's gross. Like, I'd be sitting there as, we had a bunch of banks. And so I would get calls from some of the managers like, hey man, we sent that wire and it didn't make it in time. The closing got messed up and the customer's out like $3,000, right? Because it goes up and through the Swift system. We had to time it correctly, or the banker missed the cutoff for the Fed, the Federal Reserve System. And it's just like, it's a mess, dude. And so, as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, people get caught, or you see who doesn't have swim trunks on, right? In America, when people get greedy, this is what I'm worried about too, is a lot of people are going to make a shitload of money in crypto and you're going to get rich really, really fast. You better not lose control of your fundamentals. Because I'm telling you, when your wealth paradigm changes, I was broke on my parents' couch 4 years ago, guys. My wealth paradigm has changed pretty dramatically. One thing that hasn't changed is my fundamentals, my discipline, and my consistency. I've been very honest with my academy when I've gotten sloppy, because when it first started to change and I went from, making 20,000 a year to 100,000 a year to $500,000 a year to like that, it changes. You're eating fat, you lose control of your nutrition. You start to get sloppy. And I'm just being honest with you guys. You have to stay disciplined. And so that's one thing I'm really, really big on, is as more wealth comes in, I'm making sure that wealth is constantly moving through the system. So when I pull profits from crypto, I pull it down into tier 1 capital. I ensure I do 3 things. I protect, compound, and grow. When that money grows, I repeat the process and I keep going. There's a lot of things that I want right now. Like, I love fast cars. Okay. I want a Lambo at some point. But if you ever see me driving a Lambo in a story or anything, like, know that that's paid for by an asset. So the next phase, I started talking about the phases: financial literacy. Next phase is financial discipline. Okay. Financial discipline is saying, I can buy a Lambo right now. I want it, but I don't need it. So I put that on my bucket list. Until an asset can pay for that, I don't buy it. So we have to change our frame of mind, because I truly believe that this is the greatest opportunity for you to get your family out of that rat race, to get your family out of trading time for money. But in order to do that, you have to get money to free up time. So let's see. Do I go over that? I got that. Let's see. They moved once BTC breaks its all-time. Okay, here we go. So this is to answer the question. They move once BTC breaks its all-time high and BTC dominance drops. Yep, exactly what we're talking about. And that was taught to me by Gonzo. The whole altcoin market will move. So basically what he's saying is, you'll have BTC dominance. It'll go up. And then when BTC dominance drops, so watch the BTC dominant chart. When you see that dropping dramatically, you'll see all your altcoins go up. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, from macroeconomic, that's my expertise. I don't pretend to know the charts. I don't pretend to know, like, for example, Jackie, Gonzo, Good Morning Crypto Show are my wise counsel. Jackie and Gonzo are the people I go to for all my crypto moves. So, for example, we just did a big move and we consolidated quite a few small caps into Gala. Great move. Right after it mooned. So that was pretty cool. I think one of the most important lessons I've learned over the past 4 years, I was trying to be a master of everything, jack of nothing, master of nothing, jack of everything, or something like that. I got that totally screwed up, but I finally realized what I'm good at. I'm really good. I have a logical circuit. I have really bad dyslexia. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I know the reason why I associate those two together. I didn't find out I had dyslexia until I was in the military. It's really interesting. So when I was in elementary school, I was struggling in school. I mean, struggling. Like, logically, everything they said makes sense. But when they came to putting it on math and putting it on paper, I just couldn't do it. Right. And I really struggled, got not a lot of trouble. I just kind of acted out quite a bit because I just couldn't get it. And I was, in some special classes, all these different things. But I noticed my brain could logically connect dots. For example, something would happen and I would be like, one of my friends would do something. I'd be like, wait a minute, you said this, boom, 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 boom. My brain could go backwards and connect it all the way through. I'm like, you're lying about that. Like, that's not true. Like, you said this, therefore you did this, this, and this. And then it became my superpower. I went in military. And again, I was failing tests. And one of the instructors was like, listen, you know this shit, dude. And I'm like, I do. I know exactly what you're fucking talking about. And so he did a verbal test on me and I aced it. He's like, I think you have dyslexia. So they did a test and I have severe dyslexia. So, and ironically, I'm in banking, right? So I was in banking and I transposed numbers, my brain. And I don't know if anybody knows, I don't know if there's a connection between like logical circuit and dyslexia, but my brain sees, I have a very creative state of mind and a very, logical mind. So for example, my brain can look backwards and connect dots forward. So if I see this happen in the past, and I do it with my own life, and that's how I manage my life. So when something happens to me that's negative, I'm like, okay, what did I do? What seed did I plant that caused an equal or lesser reaction? Right? I don't blame the world. I'm like, I did this, therefore the result was this, right? And so that's helped me really heavily with my investments because I'm like, okay, well, if the Roman days, if they had us drunk in the Colosseum and the Trojan horse came in, then I dive into the intricacies. Well, what did they do before the Colosseum? Right? They started demasculize all the men. They stopped fighting. They stopped training. And I'm like, well, that looks familiar, right? Then I look at financially. What happens when all the Ray Dalio, when all the wealth gap starts to happen? Well, all of a sudden the rich get really, really, really rich and they get really fucking sloppy, really sloppy. Well, when rich people that are sloppy are running your country, that is risk of you losing your superpower. Okay. It happens all the time. You see pro athletes do it, guys. Let's take it to a pro athlete, right? I love Mike Tyson. I love his personality. I love him as a, I think I love who he's become. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I think he'll tell the same story, right? He goes through this crazy thing. He is rocking people. He gets out of the get. This is like humanity, right? It's a cycle of humanity. Somebody believes in him, right? A trainer. This is all of us, guys. Somebody believes in him, a trainer, and he finds this, the most amazing trainer in the world that he just loved. And he just filled into him and empowered him and made him one of the greatest fighters in the world. Then his trainer dies, right? It's almost like his soul and his heart died. Then he finds Don King, right? All about ego and money. And he loses complete sight of why he was a fighter. The fighting got him out of the ghetto. It got him out of the hood. He felt love for the first time from a true agape love from a male, right? A male figure within his life. And then he gets this egotistical, guy who's all about money and he becomes ego, right? He moves from power down into force, hyperactivity, right? Anger, jealousy, greed, and he completely pulls him down the energy centers to the lowest part, which is lust. And then he completely self-destructs, right? Till he goes through this whole process and then he goes into ayahuasca. I think he did ayahuasca, DMT, and then I think ayahuasca. Please forgive me if he did a plant medicine. I think it was ayahuasca, like the one I did. He goes there and he does it. I didn't mean to pull myself in that story, but I'm saying we did the same plant medicine. And he comes out of it and he's like, whoa. He finds love for himself again. He starts to go through this process. Now he's going through this humility process, right? America is in that stage where Mike Tyson had lost control of what it was to be a human, right? And that's where we're at right now. So from a macrocosm level, that's what we're experiencing. So we're all sitting here trying to stop that, but the world has to go through this. The world has to go through this. So the only thing you can control is the microcosm within yourself. That's it. You can't control World War III. You can't control who's going to become president only by voting, right? And who knows what's going to happen with that. But what you can control is the mastery of the energy within yourself. That's why I don't respond to haters. I don't care how much they come at me. I don't care how much, army they build coming after me. I have zero hate for these people, like zero. The reason why is because I move myself from force, which is jealousy, anger, greed, ego, edification, to reasoning, to a middle ground, which is courage, to have reasoning enough to say, hey, listen, you're made in likeness and image, just like God. And I want to love God with all my heart. Therefore, I want to love you as I love God. I got to pull the log out of my eye before I pull the straw to yours. So I can't come back and judge you. And I want to treat my neighbors how I want to be treated. And what that does is it moves you up the force of power, from force to power. And then the highest level frequency that you can operate in is gratitude, authenticity, and unconditional love. So have unconditional love for every single person you come in contact with. Now, unconditioned, what does that mean? That means there's no conditions. It's not like I'm going to do this for you because I'm going to get this from you. If I do the dishes, honey, hopefully she'll want to, maybe make love to you. No. You do the dishes because it's right, because you want to help, because there's dirty dishes. The outcome is, if there's good intentions, you're going to feel the high frequency and vibration from that, right? And you do all things with good intentions, not expecting an outcome. So that goes into investing. Why did I bring all that up? Because if you do all things with good intentions, your businesses, you're investing, with not expecting a true outcome out of it other than learning, experiencing, and transmuting any darkness that's presented you back to light, you become the richest man or woman in the world. I love being able to soak up this in my week. Good morning, crypto. And thank you so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love all the shout outs to GMC. I love GMC. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do. That's right. JP. Yep. I got it. Yep. That's right. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do. So important. Jesus, why are you? Amen. Yeshua. Afternoon, folks. Let's go. Hello, y'all. Let's see. Atlantic, I like Caspa. So this is Gonzo. So it's our technical analysis. He says, Atlantic, I like Caspa. It has been a strong project, respecting chart structure. They're bringing smart contracts and new token standards. All right. Like you say, hold on like a tick on a dog. What do we got here? Let's see. Where are we, Coach? Where are we? We are in, I think you're asking where I'm at, Arizona. Hey, Gonzo, is Block Dag a scam in your opinion? Let's see if he answers that down here. Good afternoon, Abs. Abs in the house. Let's see. Block Dag, don't know that one. Yep, me neither. He says, okay, thank you. We are broken as a country. Yes, we truly are. We're fragmented as a country with the opportunity to bring it all together internally. Yeah, it's a really interesting time right now, guys. There were so many downloads I got when I was in Peru, and it's like, it is a pivotal time in our country. It's a pivotal time in our world. But here's what I'll say about this. Whether you believe this or not, it's going to get really, really dark, but we are heading into a very beautiful time. A very beautiful time, because Tony Robbins says it the best. It's either inspiration or desperation. There's no middle ground, guys. Inspiration or desperation, right? You're either going to be inspired to act or you're going to be in desperation to act. Just like Jerome Powell said, the middle class is getting wiped out, leverage towards technology, moving down to the working poor. When the middle class can no longer pay their bills and they're in desperation, they're going to be inspired to act. Now, that may look ugly and nasty in the beginning, but it always ends up being good, because in the Bible that I read and the God that I know, we win in the end. Okay. In the Bible that I read and the God that I know, we win in the end. I know people, it's going to make a lot of people mad, but I don't fear God. I have no fear of God. I think God is unconditional love. What I do fear is disappointing God by giving into sin. Let me say that one more time. I don't fear God, but what I do fear, because God is unconditional love. God is all loving all the time, always has been, always will be. What I do fear is inviting sin into my life and disappointing my Father God. I really, really fear that. And that's internal. Those are decisions that I make. Nobody does that to me. Nobody can trigger me other than me. And if I allow a hater or something to lower my frequency where I make bad decisions, that's a choice that I made. There was no devil with a pitchfork waiting for me around the corner. Come here, JV. Come here. There's strip clubs all around Arizona, but I don't walk into them. I invite sin into my life. If I walk in there, I'm inviting sin into my life. Sin doesn't just knock on your door. It's a conscious choice. We're not dogs and cats walking around instinctively. You have a conscious mind. You can act, you can walk, you can talk, you can think. If you're outside of adult care, you can make a decision right now to make your life great. There's nobody stopping you. That's the beauty and essence of all this, right? We all think that a president's coming back to save us. Will it change things? Absolutely. Do we need a new president? I believe so. I truly, truly do. And I think other countries do as well. Or maybe they want us to keep this president. But I do know that I'm the president and CEO of my own life, and the decisions I make from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, after I get off my next podcast interview, and the decisions I make with my son and my daughter are all decisions that I made. Trump doesn't make those decisions for me. Biden doesn't make those decisions for me. We built $1 million ecosystems with Biden as a president, and, we started it as Trump as president. Trump comes back, I'll probably pay a lot less in taxes. Our country will probably be in a much better place. RFK comes, so be it. Whoever is the president, that's what they do every single day. It's not what I do. I believe in God and I follow the life of Jesus Christ. So what's up, New Zealand? All right. Thanks for all the info. Just started studying financial literacy. Good job. I'm so glad I happened upon your channel thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. It really feels good. That's the reason why the elite are building bunkers. Yep. They should build a bunker in their mind and their soul, man. You're in a great spot. Thank you so much. See, Saw that priceless. Here we go. Thumbs up. Yes, he's just committed. Biden, man. You talking about me? No, just kidding. Wait, is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on these. I could have explained it better than him. I'm not sure what these are context to. I freaking love this shit. Coach, what are your thoughts when it comes to cycles like the Shemitah? Oh, I love this stuff. Particularly cycles that have sorry, my dyslexia. I think it's astronomical significance, like the 2029. I can't pronounce that word. Sorry, astro flyby. Yeah, no, I'm 100% bought into this stuff because billionaires use astrology, millionaires use charts. They found Jesus with the what? The North Star. Religion tells you that astrology is what? Evil. The three wise men, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and pineal gland, they go looking for the risen king. How did they know? Herod said he was going to kill all the children because Herod knew, I think it was Herod, sorry, correct me in here, knew that the risen king was coming. Why? Because of astrology, the North Star. So they go looking for him. They're following the North Star. They lose the North Star. Interesting. So their camels are thirsty. They go to the running water or the water, right? The living water. They look down in the living water to get the water and they see themselves in the reflection. And guess what? Ding! North Star comes up. The hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and pineal gland, the three wise men, saw the North Star. When your eye be single, your body fills with light. Their body filled with light. They were able to find Christ. Christ went down to get away from Herod, right? He went through this whole evolutionary process. He leaves for 18 years at 12 years old. He comes back, and right before he's 33 years old, you have 33 vertebrae in your spine. He ascends the mastery, and he gets crucified on the cross, which is the vagus nerve, which looks just like a cross. The Christos dies in your body every 28 days for 3 days, and it resurrects back up the 33rd day. It's astrology. It's us. It's a cycle. It's been happening over and over again. It happens in your body over and over again. And so, yes, the Shemitah has very, very spiritual, religious implications, and they use these 7-year Shemitahs and cycles because they know what the energy is going to look like, right? And those of you who built a storehouse in 2020 to 2022 are going to prosper greatly, I promise you. But this is where it gets hairy, and it goes into my title of the video, is you have to get focused, guys. Get out of the get rich quick. Get out of this, oh, I'm not rich yet, or XRP hasn't gone to this, or Bitcoin. You have to get out of that mindset. You got to get into the mindset that you win in the end, and you got to look at your non-negotiables, your debt. You got to get rid of all frivolous spending. Like if there is a time right now, this is a time to get, I got to keep on the time. I got a podcast interview coming up. To get rid of all frivolous spending. Look at as our CFO teaches us, non-negotiables and debts. Okay. What debts do you have that you have to pay? And what non-negotiables do you have? Non-negotiables are, for example, my family, I have non-negotiables: food, shelter, and travel. Travel or memories. That's an asset for my family because I'm creating memories with my kids. My kids are only young once, and I'm going to damn well spend a lot of great income on taking them on beautiful experiences. They're only young once. Okay. Because I am their childhood. Okay. Then you have debts. So I looked at all my debts. What debts I got rid of all. I personally, both of my cars are owned by companies. I don't have any personal car debt. I have a mortgage. Only debts that I have are necessity debts, non-negotiable debts, right? All excess income goes into the capital markets. When I profit, I pull it down into tier 1 capital. Okay. So, and it's because of things like this. Great question. Like the Shemitah. These are real things, guys. These are real energy transfers. What's going on with US and Russia? Man, Putin told us to stop with the boogeyman, dude, but we're just poking the bear, man. So Biden just keeps taking them off all these financial sanctions. So what they're doing is they're teaming up with China to de-dollarize, completely de-dollarize. So yeah, I don't know. People are like, oh, US dollars never. I'm not saying it's going to collapse, but sure as hell is going to change, man. I mean, like, so can anybody explain what happened? So if Russia had 70% before Biden sanctioned them, he was using 70% US dollars. They're almost down to 0%. When they did the interview with Tucker Carlson, they went down to 20% of US dollars. Now they're using, I think, 100% of China and Russia working together. So they went from 70% of US dollars being traded down to 0%. China's dumping treasuries. Like, I don't know, guys. I mean, it's just logic, right? That's, to me, that's logical. There's really no argument. It's like something's changing. I'm not the economic advisor for Biden. I don't want to be, because I probably could be a better economic advisor. I know how printing of money and bonds work, but I don't know. Just logic says that, hey, there's a big change coming. I've only been studying the financial literacy for 2 weeks, and I'm truly shocked of what's on the horizon. I told my family, and they laughed at me. I'm going to keep following. Yeah, yeah, that's very normal, and kudos to you. One thing that I realized is I stopped looking for everybody and trying to tell everybody everything, and I started becoming my truth, and then everybody came to me, right? So it's like, even my family still doesn't listen to what I say. I mean, most of my family's not in crypto. My immediate family, my kids I have kids. John's 8. He has his IUL policy set up, and Raven is already. And I'm not saying I'm proud of this. My daughter has more invested in crypto than most adults that I've met, and she'll retire with 1.6 million in her IUL already. So it's like, it's beautiful. And this week she's actually leaving her job. And it's just what she chose to do. She invests most of her income, and she's going to come work for me, man, which is, I mean, it's like a dream come true, right? My daughter gets to work for my companies now, here in the near future. She has more money invested in crypto than most adults that I know. She has an IUL policy that if it compounds for the next, till she's 62, she has 1.6 million. She's set. So I taught her to, I don't know if that had anything to do with the question. I'm so sorry. I'm here bragging about my kids, but I'm proud of it. I taught her to invest all of her income before she's 30, so she can live off her investments the rest of her life, instead of teaching her to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, get a $100,000 student loan, get a $30,000 car loan, pay $30,000 for a wedding, buy your first home, and just be buried in debt and struggle to pay it off. I'm going to have her invest so much money that she'll have so much interest coming off of her investments that she can do whatever the hell she wants. ETH got another free pass. Man, tell me about it. ETH is a scam, corrupt. Yep. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're all being played, man, on everything. I don't know, man. I kind of got out of like conspiracies and stuff. Like, the system is switching, man. And who do you trust? Yourself, your own discernment, man. Like, anything that has to do with financial can be corrupted, man. Just joined, been busy reading up on BRICS nation, China now, Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil customer. Yep. Deal just signed in the last hour. What? Could this crush? Deal just signed. Let me go back here. Just joined, been busy reading up on the BRICS nations, China now Saudi. Ooh, let me check this out. Live. Let's see, China and Saudis. Let's do this live here. I do have to jump off for this interview. My apologies. China and Saudi sign deal. Let's look at this live, man. Maybe I can try to find this here. I'll have to dive into June 12th. Let's see. Will China replace US dollar, Saudi? I don't see anything yet, but I'll dive into this and I'll try to report on it this week. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, something's changing, guys. I mean, it's like what I think is happening is we're going to go into an even playing field. It's not going to be just one dominant currency anymore because of blockchain, because we can transact with each other now. It's totally different. I don't have to take cash and go transact with you. I could transact over Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, Dogecoin. There's all these different currencies. So there has to be some sort of even playing field now. You don't really need a dominant currency. You need something to regulate it off of. So we're going to go to an asset-backed currency, 100%. And then I think we'll have bags of currency. What I mean by bag of currency, say BRICS has their little bag of currency that regulates where they believe the value should be. G7, right, will have their little bag of currencies where they think it should be. And then they'll try to find some even playing field where they trade back and forth, and they'll move across things like XRP at the speed of light. You move the digital yuan to the digital dollar in seconds, right? And that value will transfer, all be done. Boom, boom, boom. And then the government's going to try to get in the middle of that somehow. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll wait to see. So I do need to jump off. I got to prepare for this interview. Thank you so much. 1,400 people watching live right now. I'll be doing this every single Monday. I'm also going to be bringing Gonzo on to do some live technical analysis when he has the time. In the future here, I'm going to be working to get some of the best and brightest guests on here on Friday as well. And so let's make it an absolute great day. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Love you guys. Appreciate you.